What is quite possibly the world's biggest anime convention, Anime Japan, just happened over the weekend. And my god, was there a lot of stuff to keep up with. I'm pretty sure I couldn't even get more than half of the biggest announcements to share with you, but I've got stuff nonetheless. So join me anyway as I go through some of the newest anime previews and announcements from the past few days. And be sure to let me know in the comments which ones you're the most excited for. First up on the list is the newest preview for Steins Gate Zero, and before anything even happens, they just hit you hard right from the get-go with that Believe Me soundtrack. It's been around 3 years since the last time I watched Steins Gate, but you listen to this music and tell me that you don't get all sorts of nostalgia from it. Now, if you have no idea what exactly this Steins Gate will be showing you, then allow me to fill you in. It's kind of like a sequel and a prequel at the same time because technically it takes place after certain events from the main timeline, but diverges before it reaches the conclusion that we know. So it might be more correct to just call it a side story, or an alternate ending to what could have happened in the first anime. But basically, we leave the Alpha Attractor Field, which covered the events from the original anime, and enter the Beta Attractor Field, covering a whole different set of world lines. In this one, rather than trying to save Kurisu, Okabe gives up and becomes a shell of his former self. But somewhere along the way, he becomes the tester of an AI system known as Amadeus that emulates a once living person, which I'm sure you can all guess who it ends up emulating. And this causes a whole bunch of memories from the Alpha world lines to emerge, as well as leads to a bit more trouble with some pretty shady organization. But yeah, there's less than 2 weeks until we get our first episode on April 12th, so be sure to mark it in your calendars and try not to forget it because it starts a week after shows like Tokyo Ghoul, Food Wars, Gun Gale Online, My Hero Academia, High School DxD, Persona 5, you get the point. Also airing in a couple of weeks is Golden Kamuy, an adaptation of the action historical manga of the same name, taking place after the events of a war that once devastated the country. As basically as I can put it, the story is just pretty much one big treasure hunt. Veterans of the war band together to try and find a mass collection of gold that was stolen by bandits during the war. Although it may seem pretty basic, the manga has been rated very highly for pretty much all aspects, so we'll all just have to wait and see if it will live up to the expectations on April 9th. Also new on the preview list is one for Studio White Fox's upcoming fantasy, Goblin Slayer. There's not much to this trailer, but I still found myself oddly entertained just watching some guy in a suit of armor getting hyped up like he's the strongest person in the world for damn near a minute straight. I mean, if it's just him stomping on goblins for 13 episodes, then yeah, I guess I'd be down to watch that. As of now, there's no set release date, but it is expected to come out sometime later this year. I'll be sure to keep you updated. Now, when was the last time that you watched a sports anime? Personally, ever since Haikyuu ended, I really haven't watched any other sports anime. I mean, I watched Keijo, but I don't think that really counts. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to compare this fan service beach volleyball anime to Haikyuu, I'm just saying there's been a severe lack of sports anime lately. So even though the manga for Haruka no Receive isn't rated that highly, maybe they can make it into a somewhat decent anime adaptation. Who am I kidding? Let's just wait for that new Badminton anime. Now that looks like a quality anime. And back to another more serious looking anime, this one called Magatsu Worthright. Although it seems to be like one big advertisement for the game, I can't say it looks too bad either. I'm a sucker for that military type anime. And if you mix in some fantasy elements, then you've probably already got me hooked. Next on the list is a preview for an original anime called Black Fox. A week ago this anime was announced, and now we have our first preview for it. Nothing too much is known about the story, but from what I can gather from the trailer, this chick is the Black Fox, and she's some type of vigilante. And that's pretty much all I got. If you have your own sort of speculations for this series, then let me know in the comments below. Then there's this new upcoming original drama called So Many Colors in the Future, What a Wonderful World. I just randomly came across this one and thought that if you were a fan of the high school slice of life with a hint of fantasy and magic, then you'd probably enjoy giving this preview a watch. You got the scenic backgrounds, the emotional voiceover, a bit of sad music, pretty much everything that you need in a trailer for a series that is most likely going to be extremely sad at the end. Okay, so those were the previews that I wanted to highlight in depth, but there were even more that I wanted to point out from over the weekend. So let's just run through them all really quickly. Netflix's newest upcoming anime called Lost Song got a new preview, and you can expect the full season to drop on March 31st. Senju Yushi, The Thousand Noble Musketeers, recently got announced alongside a trailer for its anime adaptation. A smartphone game company announced their first ever anime called Phantom in the Twilight. A new Aquarian project and a Frame Arm Girl sequel was unveiled over the weekend. Then an original anime called Double Decker, and the upcoming summer series Island also got a trailer. And then finally there's previews for SSSS Gridman and Release the Spice. So if you would like to check out any of those or any of the ones that I mentioned earlier, all those links will be in the description below. Now let's move on to some more anime news, starting with the most recent information that we got on the Alicization arc. When they said that they were making an announcement relating to this series, I was really hoping that it'd be related to the number of episodes we would be getting. But unfortunately, we just got a visual, a short 30-second trailer that highlights the visual and its characters including Alice, and a release date. Then we also got confirmation on who the director will be, and it looks like Manabu Ono will be taking the reins. Now listen, I know he was responsible for directing the Asterisk War, but he also directed The Irregular at Magic High School and Hellsing, Episode 3. Regardless of his past track record though, he still has a lot of experience under his belt, and to judge him on this work based on his past works without ever seeing the first episode wouldn't really be fair. To be honest, I'm just excited to watch some more Sword Art Online. The series is set to begin in October, with no definite end date given. But as I mentioned in a previous video, when they confirmed that they'll be adapting the entire Alicization arc, I think anything less than 50 episodes just wouldn't do this arc justice. So if it's one season, we're screwed, if it's 2 seasons, it'll be rushed, but if it's 3 or 4, then we're hopefully in for a treat, or just a year of hot garbage. I've got high hopes still. And in other SAO news, with the Gun Gale Online spin-off series only 2 weeks away, yet another preview has dropped for it, although showing us pretty much different cuts of the scene from the last trailer. At this point though, it doesn't really matter, I just want to see some more epic gunfights. And the last few things I want to share with you are a visual for the upcoming Yuri on Ice movie, a visual for My Hero Academia Season 3 and the movie, and last but not least, the visual for the Yojo Senki film. And that's everything that I got for you guys today. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this type of anime news content, then you already know what to do. So until next time, ciao!